Hi, I'm Lindsay from Shreve Memorial Library and welcome to Art Club. Happy Pride Month! June is Pride Month and I thought it would be super duper fun to paint the rainbow flag for Art Club today. So that's what we're going to do. You see, it's really long. I thought it might be fun to do a bookmark. So we're going to make a rainbow flag bookmark. But first, we have a special guest. We have Matthew from the Hamilton South Caddo branch, who will tell you about some materials the library has available and a super cool book club meeting that's coming up. So here we go.
Hi everybody, my name is Matthew here at Shreve Memorial Library, and I just wanted to take a quick second to show you what we have going on for Pride Month. At the Hamilton South Caddo Library, we have this awesome display going on of our LGBT plus books and movies, and I wanted to tell you real quick about one of my favorite series. It's by J. Bell. It's called the Something Like series. It is about these two characters, Ben and Tim. And it is a very large series. There's a little bit more than this, but basically it's a love story, but it wraps around all these tons of characters, and each book introduces a new character, but it's all the same thing, overarching story. So it's really great. We have tons of other LGBT books going on. We have memoirs. We have this is another one of my favorite books, and it's by Bill Konigsberg. He's one of my favorite authors. And something special we have coming up on June 8th, we have an LGBT plus book club. It's going to be meeting through Zoom on, it's at 6 p.m. You can register. There's a link on our website. You can register through there and come discuss any kind of LGBT plus book you want. We're going to be talking about our favorite books. We'll talk about what the library has to offer and just LGBT books in general. All right, thank you.
Okay, now to our bookmark that you can use on the books that you check out at the library for Pride Month. Here we go. What you'll need is, I have paper. This is 2 inches by 6 inches. You do not need these dimensions. You can paint whatever dimensions you want. Use a scrap. It is watercolor paper. It's taped down. I have a ruler because this is a lot of straight lines and I would like them to be kind of straight. I have a paintbrush. This is a small flat paintbrush. You can use whatever. You don't need a specific paintbrush, except you probably want a decent watercolor one. Let's see, I have a pencil and an eraser, and I have a rainbow of colors today. So I have a red, an orange, a yellow, a green, a blue, a purple, a pink, a brown, and a black. So if you want to opt for the older pride flag, you can just do the stripes and pull out these colors, and you only need those. We're going to do the new one though. Specifically, and you do not need these specific colors, but I know I always tell you what they are. This is Windsor red. This is cadmium orange. This is Hansa yellow light. This is Viridian, French ultramarine, dioxazine violet, permanent rose, burnt umber, and neutral tint. Use whatever colors you have. If you have to mix some of them, go to. If you don't have a pink, just lighten your red. That's cool. All I'm going to do for the light blue is lighten my blue, which just means add more water. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my pencil, get these up here, and my ruler. And the only thing I'm going to do, I'm going to eyeball it, except I'm going to find the actual center. So if this is 2 inches across, right? So I'm going to measure not from the end. So I'm going to mark in a few places the center of this thing, which will be right there. And then I will draw a line. And the rest of it, I will totally just eyeball. Okay, and more. Okay, and now I'm just going to draw a line down these lines, which should line up reasonably well. It's pretty good. I'm going to draw very lightly a line down the middle. Okay. Now, for the triangle part, I'm going to go, this is kind of arbitrary because I'm making this a bookmark and not just the flag. So I'm going to say the triangle part, get about those angles, is going to go to about here, completely eyeballed. Okay, so I'm going to do from a little bit up from the corner. Let's see. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back from that a little bit. Here, I'm going to try and get the proportions back as well as I can. That's about 3 millimeters, completely eyeballed. And from the exact corner, I'm going to draw a straight line. This is because the black part comes out from about here. And this is going to be for the brown line. Okay, I'm drawing all of my lines really light. And I'm going to kind of partially erase them before I start painting because I don't want them to show up, especially where that white part is. Okay, so there is that. Now, so this original dot that I did, I'm going to go up and try to make it pretty even, eyeballing again, and I just want a straight parallel line to here, like that. That will do. And just eyeballing, trying to make it parallel. Yay. It's not perfect, that is okay. Okay, good enough. And then we have 2 more, say here and here. Let's see. Try to make these pretty parallel. This is not going to be perfect, but that is okay. See that? It is much easier just to do the original rainbow flag. And let's see, more. Here. Now, if we're not happy with the way these lines turned out, we can always change them. So we have white, pink, blue, black, brown. We need one more. So there and there. Okay, so I'm just going to straight up erase this one right now. So now we have white, pink, blue, brown, black. And there is the triangle portion to the best of our ability. So you can see that clearly. Okay. Now for the rest of it, what we need to do is subdivide these into 2. This is going to be an eyeball situation, and the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to be like, that's probably about right, and that's probably about right. And so I'm going to do this. I'm going to kind of line up the marks on the rulers, just that'll help me keep it kind of straight and just kind of make it as parallel as I can. If it doesn't look right, I can always erase. Oh, good enough. Okay, now here, at least we're working off of a good middle. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing for these. Try and keep it as straight as possible. all the way down to the outer triangle. Okay. Okay. Great. That is going to be the most difficult part, I think, of this endeavor. At least I hope it is. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is the parts that really need to be erased, I'm going to erase like this. And that is these middle lines through the triangles. And I'm going to, as carefully as possible, draw those lines back, the actual triangle lines. Okay, guess it doesn't matter much with the brown or black because they're dark. Okay. Now that I have the lines that have to be gone, I'm going to get my little kneaded eraser. I'm just going to lighten these lines. I'll make sure you can see it before I do that. I'm going to lighten it because I just don't want it to show up as much, especially like the lines between like yellow and green that really would. But at the same time, I don't want to not be able to see it because drawing this was not that easy. This is one thing you can do. It just kind of picks up excess lead. So the marks are still there. They're just not as dark. Okay, that's better. I can still see it. Can kind of see it. Okay. So there you have a few options at this point. One of those options is to use tape along each of those lines on each side to make sure that your lines stay crisp. I'm not going to do that because for some reason I've had a problem with tape pulling up the specific paper. So one thing you can do that I did with this is masking tape, and I put it on my pants and pulled it off to get like some pants lint on it to make it a little bit less sticky, so hopefully it won't pull up my paper as bad. So here's how I'm going to do this. I've got my little brush, and I'm going to leave the white part white, so I don't need white paint for that. And I'm going to I'll start with the pink. And I'm kind of going to do this strategically so parts can dry while I continue to paint. So I'm going to get some pink, and this needs to be light. So I'm going to get a good bit of water, and remember that watercolor dries lighter than it looks like on paper. Really a reddier pink. That's okay. Okay, so I have a good bit of water in it that will probably dry fine. And I'm going to paint this first enclosed bit right here, pink. And again, I'm doing the best I can with the lines without taping it. It will not be perfect, but that is okay. Just don't stress out about it, and it will be fine. Okay, pink. Now I'll go ahead and do brown. So I'm not touching the part that's pink. So brown, get a little bit of that. Good bit of that. Doing my best to match the colors, but they're not going to be perfect, especially since I'm not mixing paint. Okay, testing. Good. So now I'm going to skip the blue line and do the brown line right here. There's my brown line. And now I'm going to do the red. I'm going to get red. I want this pretty potent. So I'm going to get a good bit of paint. Now be sure and test it. Different watercolors, like different brands and different grades of watercolor, will be more or less pigmented, which means that you'll need more or less paint for it. Mixed with water. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to paint this top line here. There's my red. This would also be a great one to use a different kind of paint, like an opaque paint. Just real, I know I say this a lot, but don't use oils if you're going to put it in books. You will ruin the books. And if you're borrowing from the library would certainly not like that, and you wouldn't like it in your own books either. Okay, but yeah, acrylics would be great. Gouache would be great. Okay, next I'm going to do yellow. So I'm just going to do the same thing I did with red. A bunch of yellow on here. I want it really potent. It's good. And now I'm going to skip the orange line and paint this line yellow. There is my yellow line. Okay, now I'm going to get my blue and paint the blue line just the same way I did the others. Now, if at some point you want to do a second coat, like if you want the paint to be more potent, you can totally do that. Just wait for the first coat to dry, and that goes for whether you're using watercolor or acrylic or whatever you're using. Okay, so now I'm going to look at my pink and my brown and see if those are dry, and they are. So I'm going to use the same blue. I'm going to lighten it a good bit, which just means I'm going to put a bunch of water in it. Okay, you see how light that is compared, and remember it will dry lighter than it looks right now. And so now I'm going to be very careful and not get my hand in this wet paint and go back and paint this blue part of the triangle. Okay, so now I've got the blue done, and next I'm going to look at my red, yellow, and blue here and see if they're dry enough that my black won't run into them. And I see that they are wet right here, but at the edges it looks like they're dry enough, so I'm going to chance it, which is probably a bad idea, and grab my black, and I'm going to paint this outer bit of the triangle black, just like I did with the other stuff. Okay, there's my black part. Now the triangle part is complete. And now I'm at a point that I'm just going to have to dry it. So at this point, either let it dry or like dry it with a blow dryer. My painting is dry, and now I'm going to go back and paint the two remaining colors. I have orange first, and I'm going to paint this line orange. There's my orange line. Next up is green, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I've been doing, but green. And there's my green. I think I'm going to go back after it dries and give it one more coat. And that's the specific green. Viridian, the pigment, is known to be kind of hard to re-wet. Now, purple. And the purple looks like, yep, okay. And same thing with this color. There is my purple. It will dry lighter than it looks right now. And I see I did not do the best job of eyeballing this bottom part of the flag, but that is okay. And now I'm going to go back, and my green should be dry enough. I'm going to go give my green one more coat, and then we will be done. There's my coat of green. I'm going to call this done. I think it looks nice. And now I think I'm going to sign the back of this one instead of the front, but don't forget to sign your work somewhere because it's awesome because you made it. And now I'm going to very, very slowly and carefully pull off my tape, and I'm going to pull away from my painting. If you're having a hard time and your paper is pulling up really badly, one thing you can do is use a hair dryer and warm it up. Warm up the tape before you pull it off. Just the number one rule is do it slowly and carefully and always away from your painting. So if it does tear, at least it's tearing out and it's not ruining your painting. So I'm going to slowly do this. If you don't want the borders, you can always cut them off. I like the borders on watercolor and gouache paintings just because I think it just makes it look cleaner automatically. Okay. And this looks nice. Slowly. Go. One more. Okay. And here is our pride flag. Yay! I think this is super cool. It's a great way to celebrate pride. These colors are not showing up very well, but the picture will show it better. They're much more vibrant than they look on your screen right now. There, that kind of clicked in some more green. Anyway, this was super fun, and I hope you painted along with me. Please, if you did, take a picture and send it into the library social media. We love to see what you do. And thank you so much for joining me for this special edition of Art Club, celebrating Pride Month. Yay! So go check out what the library has. We have events on our calendar. We're starting to have a bunch of outdoor programs. And yeah, you should totally join the LGBTQ book club on July 8th at 6 p.m. And they're going to talk about some awesome books. And go check out the displays at various libraries. The one at Hamilton is super awesome, as you saw. And check out some books. So, thank you again for joining me. I hope you had a good time. I will see you next week for more Art Club. Bye.